Don't worry, yeah.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Eva match briefing with the Scottish team. We have defence coach Steve Tandy, we have centre Huw Jones and second row Grant Gilchrist. Hands in the air for a microphone and we'll start. First question, please. One at the front here.
Huw, have you managed to avoid the bed bugs so far in Paris?
Yeah, that was the first thing I checked when I got into my room. Yeah, it's been fine. Hotel's lovely. Yeah, no bed bugs.
How are you feeling? It's obviously a huge game. It all comes down to this for Scotland. How are you feeling personally about taking on Ireland?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a good week's training. Yeah, been looking forward to this game. We know what we have to do, but it's a great challenge. It's exciting. Yeah, a game we're really looking forward to.
Ireland are on this incredible run. They're also on a great run against Scotland. You've run them close in some games, not so much in others. What makes you think this is the time that you can finally turn them over?
Yeah, whenever we look back at those games, there's so many opportunities that we haven't taken. And obviously, you can't ever have sort of a perfect game, but something we've been striving towards is being more consistent and putting together an 80-minute performance, staying alive in every moment, and really just staying focused. We've had a few games where just 5 or 10 minutes of a loss of focus has cost us the game. So we know that we can't have that, but we also know that if we can sort of have that for 80 minutes and stay in every second of it, and take our chances when they arise, that we can beat top teams. So we know we've got the quality, we know we've got the game plan. We can win. We just got to go out and do it. And obviously, like you say, they're coming off a really good run, so we're not taking anything lightly. We know it's going to be very tough, but we've got belief.
Huw, you talked about that, 5 or 10 minute spell where you've kind of conceded a lot of points. Happened against France in the Six Nations and in the World Cup warm-up and against Ireland and against South Africa. Why do you think that happens? Because if you take those 5 or 10 minutes away in all those games, you could have won them all, potentially.
Yeah, I don't know why it happened. We obviously need to stop doing it. But yeah, I guess it's just a loss of focus. I think at this level, any sort of small loss of focus and mistake, you see it in all the games. Sort of any other team, you'll see just a small little moment. It costs you a try, especially at this level. So look, it can happen to anyone. We just obviously it sort of becomes more obvious when the game's closer, and then you can look back and be like, well, that's probably the moment where we can see the points there, and that'll be why we lost. But yeah, I think just sort of cutting out small errors and yeah, just sort of staying in it. And one thing we've spoken about over the last couple of weeks is just our animation, our communication, and something that's going to keep you all connected and just keep you all connected sort of in every moment for that 80 minutes.
Grant, the lads that were up for press yesterday, Blair, Xander, Jamie, the kind of language was real kind of up and at 'em, not die wondering, all this kind of stuff. Has there been a noticeable increase in kind of emotion in the squad and that kind of hard talking?
Yeah, I think there has to be. What the boys said is true, that this is as big a moment as you'll get in your career. It's all or nothing for us. Hugely exciting, the challenge, stuff of dreams for players to go out in an arena like this, with everything on the line. Having had the journey we've had to this point, it's about bringing that emotion. Like, don't be scared of it. We're going to embrace it. We're going to put absolutely everything we've got into the game, and we believe that's going to be enough to win.
Grant, in terms of Scotland performances that you've been involved in over the past few years, which one is closest to the level that you're going to need tomorrow?
I think there's a few, because we're in the stadium, the way we played when we beat France 2021, the way we defended in that game, man down at the end and came back, went through multi-phase at the end. That's kind of levels of effort that it'll require. You know, big games we've had recently against England, away at Twickenham, you know, where we've had bad records, you know, there's similarities there. Like, this team's gone and done things that the other Scotland teams haven't done. We know that beating Ireland something on a big stage is something we've not done. But that's what excites us, and that's why we've got to go out tomorrow and give our all for our country, for ourselves, to get into the quarter-final.
Grant, there's always been a wee bit niggle between Scotland and Ireland through the years. Does that add an extra edge to tomorrow? Because you obviously know each other.
I think, based on what I've just said, I don't think there's going to need to be any more edge or any more emotion. They're in the same position as us. I can only speak for ourselves. We don't need any more emotion than we've got, and motivation, emotion, it's all there. It's about, can we deliver that 9, 10 out of 10 performance against the world's best team?
Is it all down to a fast start? Because kind of you're chasing the game before it's even started.
A fast start will be important. I think against any of the good sides or the very best sides in world rugby, you certainly don't want to be chasing the game. We felt that when we've played against top sides, France, South Africa, Ireland in the past. You don't want to be chasing them, but also we believe that the next moment's the most important. If we do concede a try in the first minute, the game's not lost. It's a response to things going wrong that'll be more important than things going wrong. Like, we're playing against the best team in the world. Of course, things are going to go against us. It's how we get more things for us than against us, and our mentality, that the mental side of tomorrow night will be just as important as the physical side.
Grant, you could hear from what you said about the frustration about that record against Ireland, those 8 defeats in a row in the last 8 games between the nations. Do you think that's an unfair representation of the difference between the teams?
It's reality, so it's what we have to face. So I don't think it really matters what my perceptions are. I think the reality is we haven't been able to beat Ireland in a long time. So that's the record that faces us. But like I said earlier, history and those kind of things doesn't scare this team. Like, we want to go and do things that we've struggled to do. That's the kind of challenge that gives you, you know, the real special moments in your career, and that's what this team's striving to do tomorrow.
Question at the front here.
Huw, you played in the win in 2017. What do you remember from that, and is there anything you can take from that game that you can use tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that was one of those games where we did put together a performance. I think what sticks out from that is we took our chances. It was a close game, but yeah, I think we took our chances when they were available, and we finished up on the right side of the scoreline. So that's clearly what we need to do, and that's what we've done in the past few years when we've had good wins against top opposition. You just need to sort of, you have to be clinical. That's really it.
Miles at the back.
Hi, Steve. Over here.
Oh, hello, yeah.
I'm fine, thanks, mate. The challenge of winning a match by a certain level of match points, be it 4-0 or 5-0, obviously puts a certain emphasis on attack, but the other route to that is making sure that defence is very solid, because that's just as important, isn't it? And finding that balance in mental approach this week, how difficult has that been, or have you found the players sort of responding to that message very well?
I think that the boys respond to it, and I think it's always, whether you're chasing 4 tries or not, the balance of that, like you said, is really important, and we've got to back who we are first and foremost. And again, it's like, Huw and everyone's saying it's just trying to get those moments more for us or less for them in around what that looks like. But ultimately, we have to concentrate on the way we've been playing over the last few years, and there is that attacking mindset. And we know in around defensively we've had some huge moments in winning in England and things. We've got to remember those from past experiences, like beating Wales. So those moments, we know we're going to have to be at it. And ultimately, we know as well, Ireland are going to have the moments in the game. It doesn't always take a lack of focus or like a lack of doing something. The opposition are the number one team in the world, and they're going to have moments in the game. And I think it's how we respond and take energy from that. And there will be moments where Ireland will be on top. But I think for us then defensively is to really feed off that and how we can get the ball back or repel them close to the goal line if they get an opportunity. So I think it's just that exciting mindset of how can we get the ball back for these boys to go and score the points that we need, but also if we can't get it back, it's repel in Ireland as best we can.
Any more questions? Okay, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Scotland.